Hello students, welcome to AIMS India online classes. This is a chemistry session. Here we are discussing about elements and their classification. In this session, let us see about modern periodic table. In the earlier session, we have seen about earlier attempts for the classification of elements like Daubrunner's triads, Newland's octaves, and even we have seen about Mendeleev's periodic table also, isn't it? In this session, let us go through the modern periodic table. After the discovery of atomic number, the periodic law was modified and the new law was proposed by Henry Moseley in 1914. This law is based upon the atomic numbers in the place of atomic masses of elements. So, in the Mendeleev's periodic table, it was followed based upon the atomic masses. So, by taking the atomic mass as a basis for classification of elements, they faced certain drawbacks in those. So after the discovery of atomic number, Henry Moseley in 1914 he tried to classify the elements based upon the atomic numbers of the elements. So after the change in the periodic law, many changes were suggested in the periodic table. When the elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic numbers, most of the defects of the Mendeleev's periodic classification get rectified. So, because Mendeleev's classification was done based upon the atomic masses of the elements, so there certain problems were raised. So, these all were rectified by taking atomic number as a basis for classification. Okay. For example, though argon has more atomic weight than potassium, it has lower atomic number by 1 unit compared to potassium. Thus, the problem of anomalous pairs was eliminated. So, we have studied as one of the defects in the Mendeleev's classification is anomalous pairs. It means at certain pairs of elements, Mendeleev did not follow his principle or periodic law. That is, elements are written in the increasing order of their atomic masses. But in case of certain pairs like argon and potassium, he did not follow this principle because these elements are being fit in such one group where all the elements are getting similar properties. So instead of writing potassium, he wrote argon at the starting, which is having greater atomic weight than potassium. We know the atomic mass of argon is 40, whereas that of potassium is of 39. So as per his principle, potassium should be written first. But Mendeleev has written argon before potassium to fit in that column along with the remaining noble gases. So this kind of pairs of elements where Mendeleev's periodic law was not followed are called anomalous pairs. But after the discovery of atomic number and by taking this atomic number as a basis for classification, this problem was eliminated. Why? Because even though here argon is having greater atomic mass, its atomic number is lower than that of potassium. We know the atomic number of argon is 18, isn't it? Whereas that of potassium is 19. So which element is to be written first in the periodic table? Argon. So the problem is over because here the basis taken for the classification is atomic number. As per the atomic number, argon only will come at the first and followed by potassium. In this way, the problem of anomalous pairs was eliminated. Now let us see what is a modern periodic law, how it is changed from the Mendeleev's periodic law. This modern periodic law states that the properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. The modern periodic table is also known as the long form of the periodic table or the extended form of the periodic table. See here what it is stated here. Modern periodic law is stated as the properties of the elements are periodic functions of their atomic numbers. It means when elements are arranged in the increasing order of their atomic numbers, the properties, physical and chemical properties, are being repeated periodically between the elements, among the elements. That is a modern periodic law. So according to this periodic law, elements are arranged in the modern periodic table by Moseley. This modern periodic table is also known as long form of the periodic table because it has around 16 columns. It is long form. It is being very long. That is why it is called long form of the periodic table, and it is also known as extended form of the periodic table. Okay, now let us see here the modern periodic table. It is called modern periodic table or long form of the periodic table because generally if you see here there are 16 vertical columns which we call as groups. But even if you see in the place of this lanthanum 57 to 71 elements, around 15 elements are written at the bottom. So actually these 15 elements from lanthanum to lutetium, these 15 elements should be placed in this empty box. In the same way, in this place, these 15 elements should be arranged. So by keeping these elements also here, this becomes the table with 32 vertical columns. So as there are so many number of vertical columns, this is called very long form of the periodic table. Okay, and it is also called extended form of the periodic table. And to make it convenient, these 14 elements are written down. Lanthanum generally will be represented here, and actin will be represented here. Remaining 14 elements will be written but at the bottom of the periodic table. Okay, this is a long form of the periodic table or modern periodic table. Let us say about these characteristics of this periodic table. The main features, or we say the characteristics of this modern periodic table. First, let us go through the groups in this periodic table. There are 18 vertical columns in this modern periodic table, isn't it? Yes, there are 18 vertical columns. Each vertical column is considered as one group. So these groups have been numbered from 1 to 18, from left to right. So there are 18 vertical columns. Each vertical column is considered as one group. So we can say there are totally 18 groups. In this, the group 1 on the extreme left position of the periodic table contains certain metals which are highly reactive metals. These metals are called alkali metals. See here what are those? Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium. Of course, along with this there will be hydrogen also in this first extreme left side column. But except hydrogen, the remaining elements in that column like lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium and francium, these elements are called alkali metals. So why they are called so, we are going to learn the next sessions. Because here actually these elements they form certain bases which are soluble into water. So the bases which are soluble into water are called alkalis. Okay, so these elements they form alkalis, so these metals are called alkali metals. The first group elements in the modern periodic table are called alkali metals. In the same way, group 18 on the extreme right position of the periodic table contains certain elements which are very least reactive, and these are gases. These elements are called noble gases or ideal gases. They are helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, and radon. These elements are very least reactive or more stable elements. They won't participate in the chemical reactions. That is why these elements are called noble gases. Okay. Next, the elements present in the 1 and 2 groups on the left side of the periodic table and the 13 to 17th groups of the right side of the periodic table is all together considered as normal elements or representative elements. What are those? First two columns in the modern periodic table. Actually, these first group elements are called alkali metal, just now I told. And the second group elements are called alkaline earth metals because these second group elements also they form alkalis, and these metals are available from the earth crust. That is why the second group elements are called alkaline earth metals. These alkali metals and alkaline earth metals, these all are the elements present in the first two columns of the periodic table, means extreme left side. And here there are six columns at the right side of the periodic table, that is from 13th column to 18th column. We know the elements present in the 18th column are called noble gases. So except this 18th group, remaining elements in this 6 means 13th to 17th group elements. Here you can see it will be boron group, carbon, nitrogen, fluorine, oxygen, fluorine. These group elements on the left right hand side, these two groups on the left hand side, all together called representative elements, because if it is observed their outermost shells are being incomplete, so they will be more reactive, and most of the chemical reactions are because of these elements only. That is why these elements are also called typical elements or main group elements. Okay, there are so many names for these elements of for group 1 to 17, group 1 and 2, and from 13 to 17. These elements are called normal elements or representative elements, and even typical or main groups elements also. Why they are called main groups means in this 18 columns elements, they are broadly categorized into two subgroups again. Totally there are 8 groups. Each group is subdivided into two subgroups A and B. So these representative elements all are present in subgroups A. This is called 1A, this is 2A, 3rd A to 7A. So these all are main group elements. Okay. Next, the elements present in group 3 to 12 means in between the representative elements. 1 and 2 columns on the left hand side, 6 columns on the right hand side. In between them, there are 4 horizontal rows at the middle with 10 columns. They are called third group to 12th group elements in the middle of the periodic table. These elements are called transition metals. Okay, group 3 to group 12. However, it should be noted here that more and more electrons are added to valence shell only in the case of normal elements or representative elements. In transition elements, the electrons are added to the incomplete inner shells. That is specialty of these elements present in the middle position of the periodic table, that is from third group to 12th group. For these elements, along with the valency shell, I think you know what is meant by valency shell. The shell, the outermost shell of an element is called valence shell. For these transition elements, along with the outermost shell, inner shell also will be somewhat vacant. So these electrons will be added to these or will be lost from these inner shells also from these elements. Whereas in case of normal elements or representative elements, only outermost shell is being incomplete. So electron transfers or sharings will be done only with the valence shell for those elements. Whereas for transition elements, along with the outer shell, inner shell also being incomplete, electron transfers or sharings occurs with these inner shell also. That is specialty of these transition elements. Okay. Group 18 on the extreme side, right side of the periodic table contains noble gases. Why they are called noble gases? Their outermost shells contain 8 electrons and are completely filled. That's why they are inert or stable. It was observed the elements which are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell, they will be more stable and they will be with least energy. They won't participate in any chemical reactions with any other elements and even themselves also. That is why those elements which are having 8 electrons in their outermost shell are said to be more stable elements. These elements present in the extreme right side column, that is 18th group of the periodic table, is all observed. They have as 8 electrons in the outermost shell. That presence of 8 electrons in the outermost shell is called octet configuration. We know octa means 8. Octet configuration means having 8 electrons in the outermost shell. So those elements which are having octet configuration are stable elements and are called inert gases or noble gases. They are namely helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon and radon. Of course, among these helium, even though it is not having 8 electrons in the outermost shell, it is also considered as noble gas because it has only 2 electrons and the 2 in the first shell. It is the only shell it is having and it is completely filled with 2 electrons. That is why it is also considered as noble gas even though it is not having octet. Okay. Now inner transition elements. 14 elements with atomic numbers 58 to 71, that is from cerium to lutetium, are called lanthanoids because these are the elements followed by lanthanum. Okay, they are called lanthanoids or called and they are placed along with the element lanthanum with atomic number 57 in the same position because of very close resemblance between them. So in the properties and even size also they are having very close resemblance with the lanthanum. That is why is all 15 elements are placed in the same position, that is in the group 3 sixth period. Okay, that's why these all elements which are followed by lanthanum are called lanthanoids, which are following lanthanum in the modern periodic table are called lanthanoids. Simply to say the elements after lanthanum are called lanthanoids. They are from 58 element, that is cerium to lutetium. Okay, these are lanthanoids. In the same way, however, for the convenience sake, they are shown separately below the main periodic table. Actually, those 15 elements should be placed in the third group, sixth period. But if they are written there, the modern periodic table becomes very lengthy. To make it convenient, the 14 elements from cerium to lutetium are written at the bottom of the periodic table. So their lanthanides are at the bottom of the periodic table. In the same way, 14 more elements with atomic numbers from 90 to 103. They are thorium to lawrencium are called actinoids because these are the elements after actinum in the periodic table. The elements after actinum are called actinoids. They are from thorium to lawrencium. So these are the elements after the actinum with atomic number 89. In the these all elements are present in the same position, that is in the group 3 seventh period because of very close resemblance between them in their properties and even in the size. So these are also shown separately below the modern periodic table along with the lanthanoids. So these are written below the lanthanoids. From thorium to lawrencium, they are written down to lanthanoids, which we call as cerium to lutetium, to make the periodic table convenient. Okay. Now let us say about the periods in the periodic table. There are 7 horizontal rows in the periodic table. Each row is called a period. The periods have been numbered from 1 to 7. In each period, a new shell starts filling up with electrons. For example, in the third period, if you see, the third shell starts filling up as we move from left to right. That is, third shell means M shell. So, the elements in the third period will be having their outermost shell as third shell. The first element of this period is sodium. If you see its configuration 2, 8, 1 because its atomic number is 11. So as there are 11 electrons, its configuration will be 2, 8, 1. See, it started with the third shell filling electrons here, isn't it? And it has only one electron in its valence shell, that is third shell. While the last element of this period, that is argon. Argon atomic number is, yes, it is 18. If you see its configuration 2, 8, 8 means it has 8 electrons in its valence shell, that is the third shell. So in this way, in this period, third shell is being filled from left to right for all the elements. Okay, for the extreme left side element sodium, it has only one electron. As well as if you see here argon, it has 8 electrons in its third shell. Okay, the gradual filling of the third shell can be seen here. See, in this way, the third shell is being filled in the third period elements. Sodium has only one electron in its outermost shell in third shell. Magnesium has 2 electrons. Aluminium 3. If you see for argon, there are 8 electrons in its outermost shell, that is third shell. Okay. The first period in the modern periodic table is known as shortest period of all and contains only two elements. What are those two elements? Hydrogen and helium. As it has only two elements in it, this first period is also called as very short period or shortest period. Whereas the second and third periods are called short periods, which contain 8 elements in each. Okay, second and third periods contain 8 elements in each, so they are called short periods. Fourth and fifth periods are called long periods as they contain 18 elements in each. Okay, fourth and fifth contain 18 elements in each, so they are called long periods. And sixth and seventh periods they have 32 elements in each because there in the sixth period we have to include lanthanoids. Already there are 18 elements in the sixth period in the table and 14 elements written separately at the bottom as lanthanoids. These lanthanoids also belongs to sixth period. Totally they become 32 elements. In the same way, in the seventh period also there are 32 elements because in the periodic table there are 18 elements in that seventh period and these 14 actinoids are written at the bottom. These also belong to the same seventh period. Totally 32 elements. So in this way, sixth and seventh periods are having 32 elements in each. So they are called longest periods or very long periods. Okay. Elements 114 flerovium and 116th one levermorium. These two are discovered recently, and the existence of elements 113, 115, 117, and 118 was proved recently here. So the modern periodic table is completely filled with 118 elements. In the earlier days, it is with some blanks in it, as these elements were not found at that time. So now, recently, they have discovered these elements also. By that, it is completely filled with 118 elements. Now, the longest periods in the modern periodic table are 6th and 7th periods. Long periods are 4th and 5th with 18 elements in each. Short periods are 2nd and 3rd periods with 8 elements in each. Shortest period is first period with 2 elements. Okay. The period of an element signifies the highest energy level an electron in that element occupies in an unexcited state. So, by knowing the electronic configuration of an element, we can identify its period in the periodic table, in which period it is existing. That can be identified by the highest energy level in its configuration. So the highest energy level in which electrons are being filled in an element, from that you can say its period number. Okay. For suppose if you see sodium, its atomic number is 11. Its configuration will be 2, 8, 1. So in its valence electron is present in the third shell. Third shell is its highest shell. So this highest shell number gives its period. Or sodium, the highest shell is third shell. So its period number is 3. In that way, from the highest energy level number, we can say its position in the periodic table in which period it is existing. Okay. Now let us see what are the merits of this modern periodic table over the earlier classification, that is Mendeleev's periodic table. The modern periodic table is based on the atomic number, which is a more fundamental property of an atom than atomic mass. This is free from main defects of Mendeleev's periodic table, because Mendeleev's periodic table is designed based upon the atomic masses. So by taking the atomic number as the basis for classification, most of the defects were rectified in the modern periodic table. For suppose position of isotopes, we know what is meant by isotopes. The atoms are the same atomic numbers but different mass numbers. So according to Mendeleev's periodic law, the elements with the different mass numbers should be provided different places. So if you see hydrogen, it has three isotopes, isn't it? Protium, deuterium, and tritium. For these three positions should be given in the periodic table, but he could provide only one place. So this is one of the drawbacks in the Mendeleev's classification. But here, in the modern periodic table, atomic number is basis. So even though these all are having different atomic masses, all the isotopes are having same atomic number. So only one position is to be given. In that way, it is succeeded to give placement for the isotopes in the periodic table. Okay, the all the isotopes they occupy same position in the modern periodic table, which they should have because all of them are chemically similar. Okay, this problem is rectified. One more, anomalous pairs of elements. As we told, when elements are arranged in the periodic table according to their atomic numbers, the anomaly regarding certain pairs of elements in the Mendeleev's periodic table disappears. For example, as we discussed earlier, in the case of argon and potassium, with atomic numbers 18 and 19, argon comes before potassium, although argon has greater atomic mass in compared to potassium, isn't it? Atomic mass of argon is greater, but here atomic number of argon is lower than that of potassium. So argon can be written comfortably before potassium because atomic number of argon is 18, whereas atomic number of potassium is 19. So after writing argon only, we can write potassium here. So this anomaly also rectified by taking atomic number as a basis, right? This is about a modern periodic table and its advantages over the Mendeleev's classification of elements. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe our YouTube channel AIMS Today and visit our website aimstoday.in for latest updates on recorded videos.